We're going.
And hey, we're live. That was a long pause to get to live. That was weird. Hey, everybody. It is time for Typhoon number 16, Kim Gordon and Collectible Purses. And with me live in my studio is Kim Gordon and some collectible purses, which I'll be sharing with you in a little bit because I am a little part of this webinar because this is the encouragement to the fellas out there to get in the purse section. So I expect the ladies, I know that might sound sexist, but just the way it is in life. I expect the ladies to be there. I don't expect the fellas, but I do after this webinar because I'm going to show some examples of every one of these purses I found except for one. And I don't really know purses, but I gravitate towards cool stuff. And so that's what we're showing you today. Cool stuff, not your normals. We're not talking Gucci. We're not talking Louis because that's all jump through the hoops kind of crap. We don't want to do that. We want to talk fun purses for the most part, right?
Yes.
Fun
purses.
Yay! Yay! And all some live examples here. So those of you who watch us on the cruise, we did add some bonus content for you at the end. So this way too, you can, if you miss some notes, you can pause it later if you're not watching live. Take all the notes you want. Obviously, watch it over and over and over again. Debbie is in the chat. Hello, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
She will compile any and all questions for you. She is my associate producer. And let's get right to it. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Kim.
Okay. We are now going to talk about purses and what to look for while you're thrifting. We'll start with Anushka. This is a family-owned, family-owned business. Hold on.
Yeah, so can we mute?
Oh, hold on. I have to mute my phone now. Okay.
Hold on. Ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
Everyone wanted to talk to her as we started.
Of course. Of course. They want to, what are you talking about? Let me have the link. Since the late 80s, the family that created Anushka has been for over 25 years. Hold on, let me turn it off. Okay, I'm off.
Yeah.
Yay! Has been continuously evolving and creating art production pieces while preserving the integrity of the brand. The unique handcraft luxury that is weft and warp, they've been doing for over 25 years. They have one-of-a-kind painted, usually leather. Most of them are leather. And they go for as high as $400.
So if you've not seen
Anushka,
here we go.
This is what Anushka. They have different crafters that they use. So no bag is going to be exactly the same. They may have the same theme like animals or desert theme, but they're not going to be identical. So they really are a one-of-a-kind purse. Wow.
Pam Reed
just said that's hers. It's mine.
There you go. See how this works? Luckily, you ended up for a good reason. I once had someone end up in a presentation for a bad reason and went, oh, that was my wife.
And these are some that have sold recently on eBay and sold. These both had flaws in them. And as you can see, even with flaws, they go for a good price. Same with this one. This one was a bid. Now, I would have probably done it as a buy it now, but
sorry.
Oops. But sweet Sean. This one had 12 bids, and even with scuffs on it and marks, it still went for 70. And it's not a very big purse. It's a tiny little crossbody purse. And then this one is kind of the mother lode. This one, $339.99, and it's a Japanese garden. And as I said, they may have a 5 or 6 Japanese gardens, 20 Japanese gardens, but they're not going to be the same because each painter does it the way they want. They're just given the theme. So,
and this one, I would not say this is the greatest picture ever either.
No. Look, this is the picture. This was the picture how it sold. So it's kind of blurry. And it's sitting on, it looks like a couch, maybe.
Well, I think it looks like somemeone skinned the Cookie Monster, and then there's a comforter underneath and a pillow.
Yeah.
Cheryl real quick said signature. So is it the signature would be of the painter?
Of the painter, no, and also on the inside, the label will say Anushka, but they some have the painter signature on them, but not all. And I don't know why not everyone does.
So I have a little story to add to the Anushka ones. Is I was thrifting at Crazy Town Savers of all things. I only carry 2 tools with me when I thrift, and here's why. I needed both for this. This, my phone, and this, my knife.
In case he gets mad.
Yeah, no, I had never seen this brand before. It was zip tied to the wall so no one could steal it, and no one was around to help me. And I could feel the leather was good. And I looked up the Anushka real quick, and I'm like, oh, those sell pretty well. And since no one was around, I just cut it off the zip tie, and I went and bought it. I mean, I didn't steal it. I went and bought it, but I think I showed it in the hall, and before I even got to list it, someone from the thrifting board bought it right off of me. So, didn't have to go that far, but it's one of those things where I knew nothing about it, caught my eye, and now I had something new to catch my eye.
As you slicing them off the rounders there.
Yeah. Ain't nothing going to stop me.
Oh my gosh. Of course, I would be the one to get in trouble for that. All right. The next purse and designer you're going to look for is Isabella Fiori. She does totes, and we're missing the slide actually of what all the purses she does. Hold on.
Hold please.
Oh, one moment.
Let me back that up. All right. Don't know how that got out of order.
Okay.
That was so weird.
We're back in order now.
Very weird.
Her purses are more bohemian. They are really brightly colored. There's hand-woven leather with original artwork. There's beading and embroidery. And what she does is she imports different fabrics as well as leathers from all over the globe. So this one is one of her rarer totes. It's obviously Minnie Mouse, and it's leather. And it sold for $349. This one sold for $179. It was pre-owned, and the love bag. I like that one. And then here's something totally different from the other two. So she does such a really, wide range of bags. This is a little hobo bag that is woven, almost like the knit or the carpet bags that are just a little bit thinner. But this is her hobo bag that sold for $199, and it was pre-owned and not very big. I mean, probably this size, and it's just a little handle. So not even a crossbody.
And again, what's up with this? I don't mind it hanging on the hook, but get rid of the clothes. Like, why are there clothes hanging? And it's kind
of blurry.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yes, some of the blurry photos you'll see tonight aren't because we did crappy artwork. Right. That's how their photos were on eBay. We took them
off of eBay on how they sold. So if it was blurry, that's how the bag sold. This one is beautiful. It's all hand painted on leather, and she named this officer and his lady. And it sold for $314 pre-owned with shipping of $850. And then again, something totally different from the other ones. This is her drawstring tassel bag that is blocked with green and, of course, the white tassel and white leather. But super different looking purses. So look inside and look for her tag. Look for Isabella Fiori, because her bags don't just have one style. So... And then this happens to be one of my favorite ones. This is awfully pretty. It's all leather, zipper closure, and it sold for $249.95 with $13 shipping. And the bag is ivory and this really pretty light blue. But again, very different looking from a lot of the other ones she did. So, and then we bring up her fabric bags, which are beaded. They have either the bamboo handle, there's fabric handles. She does such a wide variety. Both of those sold on eBay, one for $60, and the red one with the parrot was $120.
Yeah, these were mine actually. And
that Jason carried.
Yeah, I carried them, and then they were out of season. So I wanted to yeah. So this is 2 others I have sold. The one on the left was the first one I found. I was in a secondhand store in Philadelphia right after I spoke at eBay on location 100 years ago. I was with my mom and dad, and this was on a shelf way up high, a shelf that only I could reach. And the way they did that store was the colored tags were, this week this color is 30% off, then this color is 50, and this color is 75, and that was up to 75. And it was up there so long, oddly, obviously it got to 75. I blew dust off of it when I took it down. And I didn't know Isabella Fiori, but I'm like, cherries, it's got some sparkles. I'll take it home. Then I looked it up. I'm like, oh, I like this as Isabella Fiori. So as you can see, I have sold a lot of the ones with the sparkles, And let me get back there.
And sequins.
I just found this one. So
we were together.
Yeah. So here is a painted. So I had never found the painted leather ones, and then I found my first painted leather one. So this isn't a big seller, but it is a consistent seller. There's quite a few of them on eBay. I think I'll triple my money or quadruple my money. But again, once you know a brand, I like selling that brand. I like find it as many times as I can, even if it's not a huge return. You know, you saw some $300 purses. I still like a small return because I like, oh, Jason keeps finding Isabella Fiore. Maybe we'll save him as a favorite seller.
And he found this in the shoe section.
Oh yeah,
he found this in the shoe section. So you have to look in odd places and up, look high.
Yep.
One of my favorites. Okay, Harl Taylor. He's from the Bahamas, and he does the most amazing woven bags ever. They are beautiful with seashells and pearls and gemstones, and the wood that he uses are mahogany, and it's just they're just beautiful. Well, there's a handful that are kind of gaudy, but for the most part, they're just beautiful bags. Okay, so this one's one of the gaudier ones. This has a little mix of everything on it. We've got some seashells, and I don't know what.
It's a lot
of stuff going on.
Broken seashells is what it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. But his bags have his tag on the outside, and they still sell even if they're gaudy. The pieces that he uses on the outside are the mahogany wood, the handles, and then the woven bags are either raffia or they're straw. He does a combination. This one sold $375 for an 18 shipping on eBay. And here's kind of just a combination of different bags that he's done, different shapes. He tends to put something from the ocean, a crab, a swordfish, a dolphin, something on the outside of his bags. And most of them do have the metal tag that are that's screwed into the bag. So they're pretty easy to spot. This one sold for $156. And again, just a different shape bag with the darker and light woven, and the handles are mahogany. And this is one of my favorite. I love this one. This one's cool as hell. This one sold for $269.50. It's got a beautiful seahorse, and the bag is just, it's woven, but it's woven super tight. And so it has a really different feel than the ones that are more open and woven more openly. This is just a great bag and it sells.
And they're not big. They're about this size. Yeah. You know, they're not real big bags. Like, we're going to talk about a couple of things coming up where the sizes vary greatly, but the Harl Taylors are not real bags. And then this is the one and only I've ever found. I saw it again, oddly, back in Philly. I saw it, and I've been to Nassau. If you've been to Nassau in the Bahamas, you've been to the straw market where all the crappy tourist stuff is. This is what it looked like to me. And I saw it, and I just kept on walking. And man, that gnawed at me forever. So I walked back to it, and I looked up Harl Taylor, and I'm like, this crappy bag is worth over $100 because it doesn't really look like it's a fancy, expensive bag, but it's that little tag, that Harl Taylor, that people really want. As you can see, I sold it for $150. I think I paid $7 for it. So luckily, my Spidey thrifty sense told me to go back and get it.
And also, don't rule out the bags that you guys pick up on vacation. I mean, I know I've been in Mexico where I thought, oh, okay, we just need to get a big beach bag together so we can, trump down to the beach, not a problem. They still sell. And all of these were taken or purchased on vacation from Hawaii or Mexico, and they sell for over $35. And they're like $3 or $4. And so don't count those out. I love the lobster one.
Oh,
Here is some more some more woven bags. I don't pass up any either rattan or woven bag or straw. I grab them, and the one on the lobster is vintage, so that's probably from the 50s. But I don't pass them up. I purchase them all, and you can get, even if there's no designer on them. Now, none of these have a designer, and they still sold between $47 and $72.
And a couple questions from the section, so we're going to do it right now. do you remember? And if you don't know, big because this was, you did this a month or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
Were these like the Harl Taylors and stuff we were looking up? And were these mostly buy it nows or auctions when you were looking at
these were buy it nows?
Buy it nows.
So they just had them listed. And I think I saw something about what is rattan and straw. Now, if you see, okay, the rattan would be the upper right corner. What kind of animal do you think that is?
Some kind of bird thingy.
It's a thicker straw
as a bird thingy.
I know. What kind of animal messed up? And then the top comes off, as opposed to the straw would be the middle bag, or it's like a raffia, so it's a thinner woven and thinner in feel. So the rattan would be the upper right, and that's harder. It's stiff. They're stiff, as opposed to smushy. Yeah.
Whereas the bottom one wouldn't hurt.
No.
Beth said, are there knockoffs of these? I've never seen a Harl Taylor knockoff because although we're teaching about it, it's a small brand.
It's a small brand.
There's a reason people knock off Gucci and Coach, but
because it's easy to knock off too. I mean, these right here, these are not Harl Taylor ones. These are just generic straw bags. Platypus. Thank you, Beth.
Oh yeah.
It's a bird thingy.
What if they had flaws? Would you buy, like, say you saw this lobster with some flaws, some damage to the lobster, would you still pick it up?
I guess it would depend how much it was, and how much damage. I mean, if there's a few little pulls on the top or a few pulls in one of his claws, I would see if I can pull down because that's raffia. He's made out of raffia, the thin like wrapping paper stuff that you would tie into knots. So I try to pull it down and see if I can repair it.
Little arts and crafts
it, and then I would let them know, of course, in the listing that I repaired the lobster. But I get them all. I still buy all the woven bags that I find.
Are raffia and straw the same thing? Mary wants to know.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, they're going to be classified. Yeah, they'll be the same thing. The raffia is going to be the thinner, and the raffia also comes in colors. So the raffia, of course, the orange lobster. The straw bags will be just the plain straw brown color.
And Stephanie wants to know how high would you pay for a non-designer one of these? So like, how much would you drop on that lobster to flip it?
Under $5. I wouldn't spend any more than $5.
There you go.
And then these are some more designers to look for when you're out shopping. They all do a version of, and wicker and straw baskets have been around, gosh, since the 50s. So it's not something that has really gone out of style. And it seems like every designer has done one version of a wicker straw raffia bag. But Midas of Miami, Adeline, Susan Gale, Homemade, and Tan and Black are also designers that you'll want to look for. They'll have tags, or they'll have markings on the hardware. Okay, Longchamp of Paris is the next one you guys will be looking for. They do leather, nylon, canvas handbags. The nylon bags sell for $159. They kind of fold up. They're those nylon waterproof totes.
Nothing exciting.
Nothing exciting, no, but they sell. And they come in very different sizes. This one's they're smaller ones that snaps together and folds up into nice little, compartment size. And even the small ones sell for $96. Now, it's a different feel nylon than the nylon, like, cheap slickers that you wear in the rain. It's going to be a thicker nylon, but still not leather. And so it's kind of surprising that they do go for so much, but they do. And this one is their medium size one. So again, it's not one of those. It's probably this size. And it's selling $67.99. And then here is a listing that actually is right now. This he sells each one of these, the little fold up. They almost look like little totes you carry into the market with, just to put in a few groceries. $79 each. So if you find these, and I have found them just folded up, just tiny little tote, just on the end of the rack, just nothing. And then just pull them up and look inside, or on the outside, it'll say the name. This was an actual photo used. This is one of his leather ones.
Do not adjust your screen.
No, this is an actual photo from one of their leather Longchamp, and $331.20 this one went for. And again, this was the actual photo, and it sold on eBay for full price. And then these are just different versions. This is the one of the Rider that sold for $91. It's a soft, almost a soft suede feeling. And on the left is just a very tiny makeup bag, and each one sold $162, and then the horse for $91. And they're not big purses, and they almost sometimes get tucked in between other purses because they are small. And this is also a photo, a real photo. This is not our photo. This is a real one. This is another one of their hobo bag in brown, and it sold for $390. So keep your eye open for these. The animal print, that one is a big one. The animal print, because it was pink and looks like popcorn. I don't know. Do you see animal print in there? I see popcorn, so which is good because I like popcorn. But that sold for $95.
And this is one I found. So my first foray into Longchamp was on Thrift Hunters.
Oh, we're going to be fancy.
See? And we were filming in Phoenix, and I could feel the leather was so good in quality because I was just leafing through purses on camera, and I pulled it out. And being a white guy from the countries of Ohio, I went, "Oh, Longchamp! Longchamp. I feel this feels good." And so we finished shooting, and my whole crew was French Canadian. So they were looking at the purse, and they all started laughing. And I'm like, "What's so funny?" They're like, "Hey, buddy, it's not Longchamp, it's Longchamp." And I'm like, "Longchamp to me." But again, this is one of those ones that doesn't get faked. I mean, there might be some fakes, but I'm guessing most of you never heard of it. So again, it's not Louis Vuitton. It is a high-end fancy brand, but they're just not as plentiful and as desirable for those who want to show off, you know, their Gucci. So, but I picked it up for $6 on the show, and I sold it for $90. And it was just a little over the shoulder thing, nothing big.
The leather that they use is super soft. It's that like butter leather.
Oh, I was gonna say the same thing.
You can't miss it. So when you're, I was saying, someone we just taught a thrifting class, and someone asked, how do you go through the purses? And I go through them by feeling them first. Yep. So if you find something that's really soft and buttery, grab it.
So I don't know if Angela wants me to say Longchamp again or Longchamp. I'll give you both. There you go, Angela.
And here comes my most favorite. This is like Jason's tiki. This is my tiki. And her name is Enid Collins. In 1959 in Medina, Texas, she started producing these whimsical wooden and straw bags, but I am a huge collector of her box purses. From 1959 to 1970, when 1970 she sold her company to the Tandy Leather Corporation. She was the first bejeweler, and she made that's what she is, first bejeweler. She did these amazing hand-painted, sequined, rhinestoned, named box purses. So in 1970, when Tandy took it over, they continued it for a few years, but most of her handmade signed ones were from the 60s and early 70s. So this is Enid, and she had this tiny little home studio. Her husband would cut the boxes for her, and she would bejewel them. And then as she grew in 1970, of course, Tandy then started to do a leather version up in the left corner. For 2 years, she had her bags produced in Puerto Rico, and she did a series of 3D paper mache bags, which is the bottom right. But her bags are signed and they're named. And if you look at, when you're looking for them, there is the bags that were done pre-Tandy, she would sign with an EC in the right-hand corner bottom, or a C with just like a copyright. That's what her bags would look like. When Tandy started to produce them, they did a a larger horse, which was also her logo. She also did that logo on the inside of some of her bags, but Tandy started to do the bags with her logo on the outside as well. Both are still super, super valuable. If you find any Enid Collins, I would grab it. It doesn't matter. And let me know, because I may not have it. And I may like to buy it. So it's like Jason's Tiki.
Heck yeah.
This is Kim's Tiki. The beginning, when she would hand sign the bags on the inside, there's always a mirror, and she'll decorate the little round the corner and around the mirror. She'll sign them. Some of her longer, because their purses are either box or they're rectangled. Some of them have a long mirror, but her box purses that have a round one, and she will always sign them on the inside. So look for that. They really are not faked. This is the mother of all. This is like the
This is the Holy Grail.
Holy Grail of
This is your version
Collins.
of the severed head.
Exactly. This is my version of the severed head. If any of you find this, oh my goodness, I would be doing backflips. This one is called A Whole New Sound. It's the only one she ever added a transistor radio to and little speakers on the back. It was produced in the late 60s, like 69, I believe, 68. And I have only seen this for sale once. And I have been looking for it for years. My collection got started by my great-grandmother and grandmother. So I have been looking for this for a while. These are some of her box purses that have sold recently on eBay. The left one is called Glitter Bugs, and it sold for $110. And then the bottom right is called Oopsie Daisy, and that sold for $175. She did a whole series of astrological signs. So there's one for every month. There's Leo, Gemini, Aquarius, all of them. And they sell for just about $200 if you find them. She did do, like I said, a wicker straw heavier bag, and she named them as well. And she has the same signature down in the bottom right corner, the small lowercase EC. I don't collect these ones, but they still go for big money. So if you do find them, then definitely buy them. These are just, this one's done in 1962, and it's her My Heart for You bag, and it's sold on bids for $127.50. So if you find them, grab them. This is her paper mache collection, and this just went for 2 years, from 66 to 68, and the bags were never made again. So if you find her bags that are paper mache, they were only made for 2 years, and the insides will always have a handwritten note. Can you imagine having to handwrite a little link?
No kidding.
This was made especially for you. And this is my collection. Part of it, I should say. I have some more to add. So, and most of these were started by my grandmother. And then I've added as I've found ones that I don't have, or that I really like, or that I can afford. Usually it's the affordability part.
Sherry says she flipped 2 Enid box purses. They were both beat to hell, but still got $100 each. Wow,
it's crazy. I've had ones that have had the wood kind of, damaged from water, and I've sold them for over $100. Okay, moving on. We're going to Lulu Guinness. She does some fun, funky, unique handbags. She's a London designer, and her bags are, like I said, fun and funky. This one is her paper doll, and you can dress the paper doll, or you can sell it for $269.99. So,
is it a toy?
Is it a toy?
Or is it cash in your pocket?
Well, I think it's cash. She does a version of the straw bag, and that one sold for $89.50. She also does leather bags that are plain. So again, not one certain style. a lot of different styles. So look for her name. That Lulu Guinness one, the leather one, sold for $175. And here comes some of her bags that she launched in 1989. She does, being that she's British, she does a whole line of British lips and little, well, it's her lip purse and also the little houses. And she also, I think the next one it has, she does a whole series of lips. So this one is done in snakeskin and pewter. It's $224.50. And again, these purses are not that big, and they're in thrift stores. These are her specialty bags, but again, I've seen there was one that I found in the thrift store, the flowers, that sold for $360.95. The bird, when you pull the drawer out, actually sings, and that sold for $420. And then she did a Frida Kahlo bag, which is $245 with 12 bids.
That's crazy.
And that was another wicker, one of her straw bags. And then she did Rapunzel's Castle. So she does these really whimsical, fun bags, and that one went for $245.
And what what's crazy is you did this presentation once, and I helped clean up the look of it, and I just noticed Rapunzel's hair. I never noticed that before.
Oh,
I was like, whoa!
Yeah, the little pigtail coming down.
So, are all these marked? I see Cheryl's asking.
Yeah. It'll either be marked on the outside, like Lulu's tattoos, on the upper left, or on the inside. But all of her bags are marked. She does a lot of little faces, little eyes. Her first bag in 1989 was the center one, and it has a big Lulu on the inside, a metal clip. This one was her book that she did, and it was black leather, and it's called Pearls of Wisdom, and it's an evening clutch, and it went for $35.
So the chat's now saying they're just going to buy every ugly weird purse they see based on this stuff.
You know what? Like when Jason says go to the plush and find the weirdest plush, go to the purse section and find the weirdest purse that you go, Her doll face is one of her new collections, and she does a series of doll face purses. And if you find them, they'll go for $45. And that one is a tiny one. It probably is maybe this big. Tiny. And then again, she's back to her lips.
And these were a couple that I found and sold. And which was nice is, again, I didn't know Lulu when I found these at first. I did a quick little research. I'm like, oh, this is fun stuff. So the bag on the left sold for $50, and I found two of the bag on the right. And I sold them for $60 each. And I think I paid $4.99 for them. So Beth wants to know, do people carry these bags or just display them? Do you ever carry your Enid Collins purses, or are they just display models?
I just display mine, although I would carry it. I have other wooden purses that I carry. I have a lot of funky purses. I have a Chinese food carrier purse. So if I have the time, I'll switch out my purse and kind of and switch them out to take out. But a lot of people carry Lulu. They carry the doll face ones. Those are really big right now.
So Mary said, I love this. I thought we were just going to learn about Coach bags and stuff.
Oh, no.
No, fun stuff.
Oh,
Mary.
no, I can't do it. Yeah. Although Coach is great. If, older Coach, like when Bonnie Caston was designing.
Which we're going to talk about. So it's a good setup, Mary. Thank you.
Yay. I think the 1960s had probably the biggest influence on purse change. The social and political changes of the 60s, the rise of the youth culture and the women's movement led to the relaxation of rules that were considered appropriate dress. The little evening bags were no longer, the little Jackie O bags were no longer needing to be carried, and people were speaking out and wanting to create their own fashion and their own accessories. So they began, carrying shoulder bags that were made of fabric and satchels made of multicolor and interesting materials. Patchwork came into play, embroidery came into play. And the 60s, I think, is when purses began to change. The clutch, which was kind of started in the 1930s, but it went into the 60s. But these are kind of like the Jackie O. This is what you would expect to use on your, going out at night. And they used all different materials. They silk and leather. They were beaded, embellished, and it was considered more of a formal dress, a formal accessory. So if you find those old purses that grandma used to have, grab them, because you can be selling them from 45 to 120.
Oops, sorry. Yep.
That's okay. So if you grab those, then they went into what was considered the standard handbag, and those were more for functionality. They were the ones that, what can we fit in this handbag? Let's put everything a woman needs to carry, have it be versatile enough to match her favorite outfits. And this is when the 60s brought in the standard handbag and used a lot of different modern materials, not leather. Some, of course, were leather, but not all. So a lot of those that did the modern materials and also leather are Pucci, Hermes, Luella Bartley, Chloe Paddington, and Mulberry. I found a Mulberry one at the thrift store not that long ago. And nice. These go between $95 and $250. So, and then as the 60s went on, of course, there were psychedelic designs and funky fabrics, and the woven hippie bags came into play. Not small. I mean, all varying sizes. Some were even done with canvas, leather, and this one is done with string, the one on the far right. But all of these different motifs were really big mid-60s, and these all sold on eBay anywhere between $35 and $550. $550 is the middle bag.
Wow.
That has the psychedelic fabric. That was the one that sold for $550. And then here's some names that you would want to look for. Andrea Pfister, Charles Foley, and Cachet. And then the box bag, of course, with Enid, everyone then started doing different kinds of box bags. And they came into play at mid-60s. The mod, when mod came in, they covered in fabrics and velvets, and a woven one. Then clear lucite became really big. And we found, what was it? When were we? Yesterday. I think we were at a thrift store yesterday, and there was one that was $270 for a lucite bag that looks similar to that. $270.
It's a deal.
Done. And some of the designers that did these box bags are Charles Kahn, Simone Miller, Rialto, Miles Originals, Llewellyn, and DeLau. So as the 60s progressed and people were looking into like animal rights, they didn't want to use leather. They wanted to start using more synthetic materials like polyester and plastic and vinyl. They began to start becoming the trend. And so here's some different bags that are using more of the plastic and vinyl. And these were popular towards the end of the 60s, I'd say. And some of the designers you want to look for, even stores like Sears, Woolworth, Saks Fifth Avenue, Pucci, Fendi, and Bottega Veneta. But the Pucci and Fendi, of course, and Bottega Veneta are higher end, but Woolworth and Sears will sell as well.
Come get a snack at the snack counter, get some goldfish, and get your purse at Woolworth.
That's right. Woolworth. And then, of course, as kitsch came into play, they were kind of a gaudy, campy, whimsical, fun. Women carried them. They were funky purses. They had, of course, dolls on them. They were very humorous and tongue-in-cheek. They're made out of what looks like a dog or something in the upper left corner, or something like really furry. Or they had fun little accessories, like the woven one has the whole gambling thing with a little slot machine. There's embroidered ones that are embroidered onto the vinyl. And then there was the doll. I had one like that.
Did you really?
Yes.
Oh, some serious bell bottoms too.
Check out that outfit.
Oh my.
And then these are just some more versions.
Yeah, these are ones I found, and so there was no the upper left had no brand, and the other two did, but again, way outside my norm. But I could tell. I mean, look, they're funky, they're cool. I could tell they were old, and I sold them all. And so I love when I find these old funky ones, just like Kim was telling us, because I'm like, I can do this.
Yeah, I mean, I like that one. The red, white, and blue one's
that was
cool.
badass.
And then what, as women moved on and they needed to carry more things, a satchel came into play. Sorry, did I kick you?
Nope.
Oh, the satchel came into play. The crossbody, they were made out of so many different materials, from pleather to real leather, to even carpet, the carpet bags, which are now back in style. And these satchels are all crossbody. Some are unbranded and some are branded. They all will sell. Then these are kind of like these are the evening bags that started in 1947 when Christian Dior introduced this look. And they remain popular up until 1960. Well, I'm starting to now see these clutches, these fancy clutches that have big, chunky rhinestone pieces on them, back now in thrift stores. Or so these are some of the ones that you would want to look for. Some of the names are Nicholas Reich, Barman's and Nathan's, Anderson and Shepherd. And of course, if you ever come across a Christian Dior one, yeah. There's not a second there. Just grab it. The mod and modernist subculture in the 60s came into play, and women wore velvet and lace. The false eyelashes came in. Twiggy was big. Rolling Stones, pale lipsticks, real United Kingdom, England feel. The bell bottoms, hot pants, mini skirts, and these were some of the purses that they would carry in that era. They're geometric block prints, and all of these are considered mod handbags. So you have the different patchy colors, and then there's a bowling bag that's just this funky pink color, and then another red, white, and blue.
And hey, Sears again, a hotbed of purses.
Yep. Okay, moving on. Bonnie Cashin is Coach. She was in 1908. She was born. She was a designer, an American designer, and was considered one of the pioneering designers of American sportswear. She created practical, uncomplicated clothing that catered to the independent woman in the post-war era. In fact, Robin sold one of her capes for $1,200. Yeah, Robin had a cape that was Bonnie Cashin. Well, in 1962, Miles and Lillian Kahn saw what Bonnie was doing and loved how she designed, and they hired her, and they are Coach. So she was hired as Coach's first designer, and she designed for the company until 1974. Her classic designs for Coach during the early 60s included the shoulder bag and the clutch style purse with a removable strap, so you can have two purses in one. She also designed their trademark turn lock toggle that the company still uses on a lot of their bags today. So she was their pioneering designer. Some of her bags, I know, aren't they beautiful? I'm looking for that upper left one, just in case anyone sees one. That's not $498.50. But these are some of her bags that she designed for Coach as their first designer ever.
Is her name in there, or do you just have to know?
No, actually, it'll say Coach, and it'll say, I have a duffel bag, a computer bag that I carry, and it says Bonnie Cashin for Coach.
Okay.
So it'll either say Bonnie Cashin or it'll say Bonnie Cashin for Coach. So either way, just depended. I think in the beginning, it was just Bonnie Cashin for Coach. Some of the other designers that you're going to look for are Ferragamo, Anya Hindmark, Bergdorf's, Saks Fifth Avenue, Annabelle Engel, Love on a Leash. They do a whole dog series. Borsabella, Lana Marks, Richter, Menkai, Maria Pino, Eric Dress, Pacifica Connection, Tropabella, and Betsy Johnson. Now, when I go down the purse aisle and I'm feeling for leathers, I will grab it if there's a tag in there and it's unbranded and it says it was made in Italy or Spain, I'll stop, look them up. If I can't find them and it still looks really cool or it's a great leather bag, I buy it.
All right, so that was the webinar from the boat. Now it's time for the bonus content. We're added 2 more fun. Again, we're sticking with the fun in this presentation tonight. 2 more fun brands, Kipling and Le Sportsac, but specifically Tokidoki for Le Sportsac, because he's a great designer that comes up with just some amazing stuff. So let's talk Kipling first.
Well, Kipling began in Belgium, and they were 3 guys that were great friends, and they decided to make a purse in Antwerp, Belgium. Let's try.
As 3 dudes do.
As 3, yeah. Jason and his friends. Kipling's name came from the Jungle Book, from Rudyard Kipling, and they decided that why else? Let's have a monkey be our thing we hang on our purse, so everyone will know. In the beginning, each bag corresponded to a monkey, and some of the earlier ones are the key hanger is tailless, and it's known as an ape. Some of the terms are interchangeable, but the Kipling logo is always going to be a monkey. And it's a monkey that is a freestanding monkey that is hooked onto the purse. What Kipling did is he decided to name each one of the monkeys after an employee, and they are in 65 countries all over the world. And so each of their monkeys or apes has a name of an employee and a color.
I want a monkey to be named after me.
I know, I do too. If you find these bags, then grab them because they sell really well. This one, what did it go for? Oh, $89.95.
Yeah, so here's the same bag in the different colors.
With the monkey.
And as you can see, the first one was called Danya. This one is Cecil. And Orelli.
Orelli? Yeah.
I think that's a person's name.
I think so. That's Orelli.
And this is Alvar. So again,
where's like Sue and Kim and
where's Jay?
Yeah. And here is they're black. For whatever reason, their black shoulder bags are the big ticket. That's what everyone looks for, and the black monkey. And if you find one, you can sell it for $50. Now this one's expandable. This is a laptop bag that opens. Do they have the monkey's name on it?
They don't.
Oh.
And that's poor research, because with a little bit of research, it's like when you're looking up Vera Bradley's patterns.
Yeah.
With some research, you can find the name of the pattern, and that'll definitely help sell it. I like this. This one's cool as hell.
Joanna Stars. See, it's Joanna.
Yep. Stars and stripes.
Oh, and the monkeys. Look at the monkey is blue and red.
Yep.
That one's cool. So these are just some of the Kipling bags that they do, and they'll go anywhere from 30 to, 100?
Yeah,
we'll see. This one's nice. And they're not that big. Like this one is one of their crossbody messenger ones. Again, probably the size of what Jason was holding up earlier. Not that big.
I'm about to show 2 examples here in a second.
And then you can just get their monkeys. They have a monkey website. Kipling has a place where you can go and pick out any monkey you want. You can buy packages of monkeys, country monkeys. And they sell very well as well.
Yeah,
just the monkey.
I've seen the monkeys just hanging on the keychain rack at the thrift store. And here's one of the ones I've sold in the past. It was a lunch bag, but it was missing the monkey and the strap. And I still got like $35 for it because it was such a great pattern. Someone wants to know what the monkey is missing. You could still sell it, but of course, that's kind of the fun of these bags. So
yeah,
this is one I thrifted a while ago. I just haven't listed yet. That has been used. Need actually a washing. So I'll have to do a little research to find out what this monkey is and what color this is. But this one I just thrifted, and it's still new with tags. So it tells me it is Sebastian, and it's in scallop pink. So there's the monkey. So see, fellas, they're just out there. You just got to go find them. So once you know the brands, just go look for them.
Search for the monkey.
Yep. And then we'll end with.
And if you're not searching for monkeys, then you're going to be searching for Tokidoki and Le Sports Sac. Now, Le Sports Sac's been around since '74. Not a new company. I think, gosh, I remember my first Le Sports Sac. I just felt like the belle of the ball in middle school. I think I was in 7th grade. I was just like, oh, this is so great. And it is, was up until like 2005, I believe, a U.S. company that Le Sports Sacs were all made here. They've recently sold. And they are now sold to what is it, Itochu Corporation. They own the rights. Well, with that came a lot of collaboration with different designers like Diane von Furstenberg, Jonathan Adler, Gwen Stefani did a lamb collection, and Tokidoki. And Tokidoki is their hot item right now. Le Sports Sac, Tokidoki wallets. I mean, this one went for $55. The purse, $46. I like this pattern. I think that's cute. This one went for $76. They're just different size bags, but they all will sell. Tokidoki is hot. That's kind of a clear one, too. That's very cool. See, that one you can see through. It's a messenger bag. $235.
Sold for $150.
$150.
Yeah, they were asking
best offer.
Yeah, best offer.
But $150 for a bag that's like tiny.
And as you can see, it's not all the same, obviously. It's a designer who has a look, but it's always changing.
Right.
And this is just a little wallet. This is a little
tiny wallet.
And at bids. This one has 7 bids.
And it was pre-owned. And then this looks like more like the Le Sports Sac, like the vintage Le Sports Sac shape, but it went for $75. And then this one is.
This is the one I found.
This is the one he found.
I found it a while ago for $7. I sold it for $100. It's a pirate theme, but Kim was telling me that's now selling for around $200. So I should have sat. I should have sat on the damn thing.
Yeah, it's now selling.
This
like $199. This is a great
another one I found. It was actually missing the strap, but someone still bought it like a clutch, and I still got like $25 or $30. Again, not real big. And then this one I loved because of the zipper. That's a badass rainbow zipper right there. And I didn't find, just to show you though, back to hey fellas, I didn't find a Tokidoki this weekend, but I did find a Le Sports Sac. There we go. New with tags too. So I found Kipling and Le Sports Sac new with tags while out thrifting. So they are out there. They're out there to be found. They're out there to be flipped. And although we didn't talk about it, okay, what did I do with it?
What?
Oh, there it is. I love purses. I am big girl.
Big girl.
But I picked up this sourpuss because, again, it's not about always like quality. Not that there's anything wrong with sourpuss, but it's not, it's not French leather.
No. But
look at this great Halloween print, and I thrifted this for $25, and it's selling right now for $52. So at the minimum, I'll double my money. But man, if I hold out for a higher price and I wait towards Halloween, I mean, I'll put it up now. But this is definitely a Halloween purse. So this is going to go for like $75. And there's a name to the pattern. So like with all this stuff, you do your research. Besides writing what you see, if you write the pattern name down, you can make some good money that way too.
Tokidoki, yes, is a little character. But they also have other little characters with on the Tokidoki purse. If you bring up, do you have the slide? Bring up one of the last slides and I'll show you.
Yep. Hold, please.
Okay. Like the little bottom left corner, the little pink cactus. These are all of their individual all of their individual characters. The cactus comes, there's also a white cactus on there. So they're all Tokidoki is the designer, and they do a series of different characters. So they have the unicorn, they have little people, little tiny cactus, and they're collectibles.
You want to know if these are fabric?
They're
so
nylon.
Nylon.
They're like not
both Kipling.
Yeah.
Now this Tokidoki, oops, up on the screen, was a leather one. But for the most part,
they come as the sports sacks are a nylon.
Yep. Sorry, I realized I had the screen up. So it's up. The screen's up now.
Yeah, and this one was leather.
Mary's impressed with my purse prowess. Thank you. I got pretty good purse prowess.
He does.
Are there websites to find names of styles of vintage purses? So I am going to show 2 websites, but is there a specific vintage purse website you like?
You know what? I do a lot of research on Pinterest, and I make Pinterest boards. So I have, which I can give you my Pinterest, but I have boards that have vintage purses, vintage clothes, vintage tags, tags from different clothing stores. And I make Pinterest boards. And I find that if I Google it, chances are, I may get a little information. If I go and throw it up on Pinterest, somehow, 4, 5, 6 boards will come up with the information.
So there's 2 websites, Kipling Monkeys. So if you go to kipling.com, they have accessories /type/monkeys. And here's all the little different monkeys. So as you can see, and there's some other accessories. Ooh, like a cat in the hat kind of thing.
It's an elf.
Oh.
Yeah. It's their elf monkey.
Yep. And then also there is a Tokidoki website to show their different their different
bags in collaboration.
Yep. So, those things are just easy to Google. Get out there and find the information you need. And the most important thing tonight is not a question. It's a comment from Shelly Robbins. Love your makeup and hair tonight, Kim.
Thank you.
Is there a way to know it's always Tokidoki? Yep. You'll see that tag in there. It says Tokidoki for the sport sack.
And Tokidoki, their own symbol is a heart with skull with crossbones.
Yep.
That's Tokidoki's own.
And not all zippers on Tokidoki are rainbow. Some are, and you'll know when you find them because they're cool. But not all of them. Look at that, 5:57. Bam.
Did we really?
Yeah, 1 hour.
Woo!
See? 1 hour.
We did it.
1 hour of fun purses. Now, here's the challenge. And this is we haven't done homework in a while. We did homework with t-shirts. Now we're doing purse homework. So in 2 weeks, Kim and I, and she'll be at her place, I'll be at my place. We're going to hop back on and we're going to grade your purse homework. So I will start a post. So, and it doesn't have to be these specific brands, but go out and find something. Now, if you already buy purses, what I would hope for you to do is maybe find one of these or something you had not bought before. So fellas, I want you all to go buy a purse. Find something fun, find something funky. And I wouldn't start buying $25 purses like I do, but I've been doing purses for a while. I know what sells. Most of what Kim did, I knew most, but not all. So I learned a lot though. But let's meet back in about 2 weeks and we'll figure out a date. We'll do one of those video homeworks where we'll just grade it and maybe even give you tips and tricks to get it listed. All right.
Yeah.
So it's our second homework, and you guys loved it. I loved it. It was so much fun doing homework last time. We're gonna do great fun homework, maybe once a month. So that's it. So thank you everyone for tuning in live. We had a nice audience of about 40 tonight, so that was cool.
Yay!
And those you watch after the fact, enjoy. And Debbie, as always, thanks for compiling the questions.
Thanks, Debbie.
And if this dude is person up, oh, I like it.
Yay!
If you watch after the fact, have any questions, just pop it in the Secret Beach on the post for the webinar. And Kim or I will be happy to answer any questions. So thank you all. Have a good Sunday night. And I'll see you Thursday with another episode of Thrifty Business. That's it. We're out of here.
Bye.
Have a good Sunday, everybody. Ta-ta.